We're live.
Woo!
Hi, everyone. So welcome to another one of our webinars. And if this is your first Zoom meeting, then I'll just go through a few things before we get started. You'll be muted as soon as you come in, and then if you would like to speak, you can unmute yourself or put your hand up and we can unmute you. Also, if you've got any questions that you don't want to jump out and ask them live, you can always pop them in the chat box. So just down below, you will see a little chat and a speech bubble. So just click that and it'll bring up a chat on the side. Just type in your question there, we'll be able to see it and we will answer you live. We'll also put links in there to any questions if we've got any. And yeah, I think that's about it. If you don't want your video on, you don't have to. You can choose whether to stop your video or not. You'll still be able to see us. We just won't be able to see you. So it does pay to come out live because it's getting your confidence up and then we can see who we're speaking to and it's a bit more personal. So we'll just go around and tell everyone a little bit about us and how we came to be where we are today and how we joined SFM. And how our journey's been going so far. So we'll start with Tanga.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. Hope you are all well. My name is Tanga, and I get lots of variations, but Tanga's the way. So I joined SFM about 16 months ago, and I joined through an ad on YouTube. At the time, I was going through this whole fear of facing retirement in less than 15 years. And I just knew that whatever I was doing at the time just wasn't going to cut it for the type of lifestyle that we wanted to have with my husband and our family once we sort of hit retirement. So we decided to really look at options and this came through, and ever since we've taken each step has felt so good, and that's been the barometer that we've used to keep going. It's been an amazing journey of growth and personal growth, and also sort of around unpacking some of the stuff that we didn't even realise were blocks. So it's been an incredible journey. Background is I still work part-time, so I've gone down from full-time to part-time. I work in community service, which in itself is fulfilling, but of course not in terms of when you're getting older and you want to start winding back. And prior to that, I was in the banking industry, and I worked as a financial counsellor. So for me, I've seen a lot of people in community that are starting to wind down, have a lot of debt, have this fear of what am I going to do with all this debt in retirement. And that's what really has prompted me to look for something different. So that's my story. That's what's led me here and still in there. So really enjoying it. Thanks.
Do you want me to go next?
Yeah.
Hi, everyone. My name is Anna. How many months are we? We're about 13 months now with the SFM. And prior to starting with the SFM, I was a call centre team leader. And my partner, Michael, is a truck driver. He's still working. I've come off work to focus on our business. The real drive behind us joining was basically just to find something that we were more interested in. You know, going to work, just not feeling that sense of fulfillment. You know, we had that feeling for many, many years, and coming across the SFM, not really knowing what it was all about, similar to what Tanga was saying, you know, it just felt good. So we just continued going, continued learning. So now we have gone down the affiliate marketing path where we promote the SFM, but we have also just recently started the e-commerce side of our business. And we actually yesterday had our first product shipped to Amazon, which is really exciting. So that's where we're at right now. And we're absolutely loving the journey so far. Our goal right now is to be able to replace Michael's income, so he can come off work and spend more time with our 2 young children, Jada and Jordan, who are 10 years old and 5 years old. So that's us. Just the real simple things, really. Just want to be able to spend more time, as a family. So that's us.
Cool. All right. I'm Serena. So my husband Eugene and myself are both in SFM, and we are more so for affiliate. And what brought us here was Eugene was looking for pathways really for him to start with, and he was just sick of going to work and not being fulfilled in the job that he's doing. Like, he's good at his work, but he didn't want to go and do what he was doing. So he was looking up things on how to stay positive in work, and then a YouTube video came up, and then that's when he showed me. I had a look at it. I started doing all the modules. Eugene was doing them as well, but I was able to get through them a lot quicker. And then I came out of the beauty business that I used to have, and been full-time doing affiliate side for over a year, maybe a year and 4 months now. So I'm able to stay at home with my daughter. She was a driving force behind us as well. We struggled to have her, and then when we did have her, we were leaving her in daycare for long days while we went to work to make money just to pay our bills. And that's not the reason why we went through our journey to have her in the first place. So we wanted to have more mummy care rather than daycare. And we've achieved that now. So I am stay at home with her. She does still go to daycare a couple of days, but our life now is completely different. So the same with Michael and Anna. We are now concentrating on retiring Eugene from his work. So he's still full-time. And then when he can come out of that, he can concentrate on himself and find his track that he wants to go down and spend more time with us as a family. So that was us in a bubble. So today we've had one of our biggest questions coming through, and I know all of us have been through this as we first started, and it's if your partner, your spouse, is more fearful than you about this journey. So it's not having the backing of that person and how important it really is. So we'll touch on that subject and maybe be able to give you some tips about how to try and get them on board, or how to get them to see what you see at the moment, because it's really hard if one side of it, one side of the relationship is really into it and wants to do this business, and then if your partner's behind you saying no or whatever they're saying, like, it's hard for you to be able to concentrate on that. So I've been through it personally, and I know all of us have. So we'll just maybe answer how we got over those fears in the first place. If someone wants to.
I'll start.
Yeah.
So I was just, as you were talking, I was just reliving that when we first got started with the SFM, because it was actually initially me who, I had a really terrible day at work, and I remember just going ahead and signing up to the SFM without really knowing exactly what I was getting myself into. And I didn't actually let Michael know what I was doing. I just thought, hey, I'll just check it out, and we'll see what happens. And I remember going through the training. Every day I was learning something new, and I was just getting really excited. So I got the laptop, I connected it to the TV, and I was watching the training on the TV. And Michael got home from work. He was sitting at the dining table eating dinner, and he was watching the TV, and he thought, oh, what is this? What is she watching? And as he was watching it, he was like, oh, that's interesting. And I remember Stuart, who's for anyone who's watching this who doesn't know who Stuart Ross is, he's actually one of the co-founders of the SFM, and he was talking about how when you have an online business, it's really important to learn how to outsource things, so you don't technically have to do every bit of the business and the daily runnings of things. You sort of just oversee it. And that sort of caught Michael's attention, and pretty much since then he just jumped on board. So if I can offer any sort of advice to anyone who is feeling a bit unsupported or a bit worried of, how your partner or, your husband or wife might feel about you taking that first step, it'll be just to plant little seeds and just go through the training, and get them involved. Just get them to watch, a couple of training courses, and, you never know, they might be into it, just like Michael was.
Yes, interesting subject, and welcome to the world of relationships, because it's like constant and it shows up in so many different ways. But when I think about it, with my husband, with Sam, I guess I don't know with a lot of couples, but for us, I've always been on this whole, how do we make our lives better journey? How do we do better than what we're doing now? So I was always the one in that mindset, exploring that. And Sam's quite happy to go to work, do his thing, come back. And, every now and then, he's the dreamer, though. He loves thinking about what he wants to do in life, but he's not really the action taker. So I think through this whole journey, I've had to take those steps first. I've had to be open about what I'm learning about, although I didn't share it initially because I didn't know what it was. I just knew this sort of feels good. This sort of feels like where I want to head down, but I needed to really immerse myself in that training first. So it was really difficult to be able to explain that, because I didn't even know it myself. And I remember one of the trainings that Stuart says is, it is going to be hard for you to explain this, because you're talking to someone that's in an employee mindset, and that's all they know. So if you're just starting to transition out of that space, you're not technically equipped to have that type of conversation. So I did the same as Anna. In the background, I would have things on loudspeaker, and he'd be doing his thing, walking around the house, just tuning in, and I'd know that because then I'd hear this, like little funny noises, like, okay, he's listening, and it's just these subtle things that go on in the background, and slowly that curiosity starts to turn on, and he gives himself permission to find out a bit more. And sometimes that's just the way that it's got to work. And I think once you accept that you are going to take the leadership in this role of moving your family, your partnership ahead, then you're going to allow yourself to say, right, I'm going to need to allow myself to change by example. And it's going to be so much the things that I do and I say that change in our relationship. And believe it or not, this platform of SFM teaches you more about your inner blocks and your inner language that you use. And when you start using that and communicating and improving your relationship with your partner, with your husband, they start to ease up on a few things as well. And it's this whole, I think I've heard the word osmosis process that happens, where energetically your transformation starts to rub off and they soften up a bit more. So if you've got someone who's particularly resistant to you taking the step, maybe all they've seen is you taking loads and loads of steps in the past, like me, and not really doing much with it. And so it's their way of protecting you. Maybe that's what it is. It's them saying, oh God, what are you doing now? We don't want to see you hurt. That's just their way of protecting you. So if this is really going to be the pathway you want to take, show that as an example, as the impact that it's having on you and then your relationship with them. And when they start to see the changes in you, that will naturally start to rub off as well. Other than putting something under the pillow, running it while he's asleep, and maybe trying to I don't know, but that's what's worked. Very similar to Anna's journey there with Michael as well.
Yeah. I was the opposite. I was the non-believer. So
Yes.
you shocked me. So Eugene found it. He found the video series. He signed up. He was trying to show me this video series for ages. He's like, just watch it. It's just like 20 minutes. And I'm like, 20 minutes? That's ages. And I just kept brushing him off. And I was still in my beauty business. And because like I felt a sense of success being in my beauty business, I was like, well, I've got a business. I don't need, anything else. But then when I come home and I see Zalia, my daughter, I'm like, actually, I don't want to leave her, but I still want a business. So in the end, it did make sense. But I must say, I Googled SFM and it came up with a lot of things, a lot of bad things about SFM. And I read every single one of them and I said to Eugene, see, look, it's a scam. And then I kept reading and I was like, oh, actually, if I Googled anything, I could find that everything is a scam. I could find that like Arbonne is a scam, like you can find out negative things about everything. And then he kept going through the training. He then signed up to become a member, which I still didn't support. And I made him use his own money for it. He did that. He was doing the training. He wasn't coming to bed until early hours in the morning. And then it just all fell into place because then I was like, well, he's talking a different language now. He's more excited about the future than I've ever seen him. And he's always been a dreamer as well. Like he's always thought of all these cool ideas, but nothing's ever taken off. But then there was just the change in himself, not towards just business, but his mindset and the way that he spoke to me about, like business. And he's never done that before. So I then watched the video series and I then started the training and then I took over because it was so I loved everything about it. And then Eugene saying, oh yeah, but this and this and this. And I'm like, nope, past that. Like I was just off. And we had this plan that we would do the training together, we'd do it together and, make it a us thing. But I just done it. And, he did do the training eventually. And the change that I've felt from myself as well is that change that I saw in Eugene at the beginning. So you just have to really get your partner to get in front of the videos, because if I hadn't have watched that video, then I would have just still been saying, oh no, and I would have missed out on this opportunity. But I don't know, maybe make a date night that you can sit down with your partner and watch the videos together. I don't know. One of the videos that they make you watch was The Secret, and I've watched that before. But maybe if you put that in front of them first, or The Shift is the other movie, and that's quite a lovey-dovey movie, so you could watch it together and then say, oh, well, actually this coincides with their business, they might be a bit softer. Yeah, I'm quite a stubborn person, so that was my journey. And I know a few people have asked me about, partners not being on side, or how do I get them to trust in me? And you just have to, like Tanga said, you just have to do it, and then they'll eventually see. But it is a lot easier if your partner's with you than against you. So yeah, that was my journey.
That's funny. I just thought about our date nights and how, there'd just be some nights where I'm just, I just want to Netflix and chill. And Michael would be the one to pull me in and say, no, we've got some training to do. We have to get through this. And that's still like 13 months on. There's still things that we need to do for our business. And he is, quick to pull me in if I'm just having one of those moments where I start doubting myself, or I just can't be bothered. He really just compliments me and lifts me up when I need it, and we just bounce ideas off each other. So I think that initial step that you take for the people who are the action takers within the couple, it can be quite daunting, because it's almost like you feel that sense of responsibility, and what if this isn't the right decision to make? And I think that just really it really highlights how important it is to surround yourself with the community, with the SFM community as well, because if you are starting alone, it can at times feel quite isolating. Fingers crossed, eventually, your husband, your partner, whoever it is, comes on board. But during that interim, it's really important to get that support behind you. So, I think that's probably the biggest standout between the SFM and other online courses that are out there, is the community. And I know a lot of our members have said that as well, is just the community has been the number one thing that's really stand out compared to the other courses out there.
And that's why we've made this group, is so that we can be a smaller community within a community to help our immediate members. It's just thinking as well, another point that got me across on side with SFM was that, don't forget it's got the 30-day money back guarantee. So you can, you put in your application, that's $29.95, and then when you go to member, which is $2.97, unless you get it within the window, that still is 30 days money back guarantee. So if that's what your partner needs to hear as well, because maybe they are, like Tanga said, scared of the investment, scared of the time that you're going to use if it's not going to work, then in 30 days you can prove to your partner that it's a possibility, that you can make it work. So that was another bonus for us.
I think for us, the financial investment is nothing compared to starting up in bricks and mortar business, or we even started a commercial cleaning business, but we had no money to even start that. So we had to look for ways, to be able to start that, test it, get burnt out after a year cleaning medical centres, and really this whole option, which is a low cost, which is money back guaranteed within 30 days. For me, when I did that mental risk assessment, it's like, seriously, what's the problem? I just need to run through it and see if it works for me. And ultimately, that inner trigger that you have when anything isn't right, trust yourself. You will back out, and that's cool, because you've got your money coming back to you if that's the case. So when you know that that's your safety net, you're all in for the time that you are going to give it a go. Get in there with a focus of making it work, not with knowing that you can back out, because you're actually giving yourself an out in a way as well. So if you were to focus and say, this feels good, I'm going to get in here. I know it's a dip my toes in, but that little safety net is at the back there that I know, okay, worst case scenario, if it doesn't work, I'm out. But go in with this mental mindset of there is no out, if that makes sense.
Definitely does. When you're starting up your own brick and mortar anyway, sorry, there's another point that I'm thinking in my head. You have to treat this like a business.
Yeah.
It's fully a business. In the beauty industry, it's $100,000+ to start up your own beauty industry. And then you've got to put products on top of that, which is like 10 grand, and then equipment that's like 25 grand. So and that to me, when I was in there, was nothing. I was like, well, it's a business. We can do it. It's a business. If you treat this like a business as well, you can start up your own business for so much less than that, and have the flexibility as well. Like, you can take your laptop anywhere you want. You don't have to be stuck in a house, in a clinic, or, sorry, I'm talking beauty talk, but you don't have to be stuck anywhere. You can do it whenever you want. So yeah, come into this, treat it like a real business, because it is a real business, and it is going to work for you if you look at it that way.
And the reason you've started looking into this is because something's not right in your life right now. The things are not doing, or you're not creating the things that you want to at the moment. So it is going to take a little bit of feeling uncomfortable initially, particularly if all you've done is earned a wage. because you've always had the safety of a wage going into your account every fortnight, and you would still keep that. That's the strategy. Keep that to cover your basic needs. But in the meantime, your fulfillment comes because you're growing something that's going to be long term, that will take over that, and have faith that it will when you build it up.
That was the only question that I had. Did anyone have any other points?
It's interesting, the themes that come through. They're all worded differently, but the themes are very much the same. Is, you know, your relationships and the impact on your family, because initially you are going to be taking the step on your own until people are ready to jump on board with you. So surround yourself with like-minded people in the community. You're going to need that. You're going to need this sort of group as well to help you, to nurture you, to support you. We've all been there, absolutely been there, all of our stories. This will go a lot longer if we could tell our full stories.
Oh, yes.
Yes, so any closing points?
I'd just like to say, have faith in your instincts. It's very easy in this day and age, when you Google anything, that you're getting lots of different things, and none of us have faith in reviews anymore, because there are strategies to put up reviews from competitors, right? So yes, it's important to do your due diligence, but don't forget that you have an instinct there too. So if things feel in alignment with you, chances are you're actually in the right spot. But ultimately, what's the worst that can happen? You get $29.95 US back if you've dipped your toes in. You know, the risk is minimal.
Definitely trust your gut.
Any parting thoughts? Not really. I can't really. Yeah, not really. I think we pretty much covered everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds good.
No, we have. All right then. Well, it's a wrap, and we will be back next month, same time.
Can't believe how fast it's going. Thank you, everyone.
All right. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
See ya.